Have you ever wondered why goodness is often punished? They say this world belongs to the cunning, that kindness is a one-way ticket to ruin. Machiavelli smiles coldly. He who wishes to show virtue among the wicked will surely be destroyed. But Stoic philosophy does not bow. It rises and roars. No. The answer is not to abandon virtue, but to forge it into steel. In this video, we enter a timeless dialogue between Machiavelli, the man who understood the world, and Marcus Aurelius, the man who understood himself. You will see that amid deception, betrayal, and power games, there still exists a fortress that no one can conquer, the fortress of reason and virtue. Alas, you have felt this, have you not? You tried to live decently, to live honestly, and what was your reward? Betrayal, exploitation. You extended a hand in friendship and were dragged into the mire of deceit. This is the pain that has caused many noble souls to fall. They offered an olive branch and received a knife, and then they lament, why? Why is my goodness punished? Machiavelli, with the cold smirk of a surgeon, says, because you mistook the arena for the monastery, you brought a paper shield to a battle of iron swords. He is right. But what is his solution? Discard virtue, he whispers. Pick up the dagger. And this is where the Stoic stands up and roars, no, the solution is not to abandon virtue. The solution is to forge virtue. The ruin. Machiavelli speaks of loss of property, loss of position, loss of life to the Stoic. What are these? They are externals. They are indifferents. They cannot touch the only thing that matters, your inner fortress, your hegemonicon, your faculty of choice. This quote is not an excuse for wickedness. It is a warning for goodness. If you are struggling because you tried to live well, do not despair. You have not failed. You are simply confusing two concepts. Naive goodness, a fragile flower that believes no one will step on it. It is brittle and depends on the kindness of the external world. This is what meets ruin. 2. Stoic virtue. Rooted deep in rock, it stands tall not because the weather is fair, but despite the storm. It does not expect kindness. It chooses kindness as an act of inner strength. Machiavelli warns you that there are many not virtuous. Excellent. What better gymnasium do you need for your soul? Every liar is an opportunity for you to practice honesty. Every greedy person is an opportunity for you to practice moderation. Every cruel person is an opportunity for you to practice courage. Do not be a person who makes a show of virtue. Be a warrior of virtue. Your goodness must not be soft. It must be harder than the enemy's steel. When you are deceived and you still choose honesty, when you are treated unjustly and you still choose to act rightly, that is victory. Do not fear Machiavelli's ruin. Fear the decay of a soul that has abandoned virtue in exchange for safety. You look out at the world, and what do you see? Glimmering promises, fleeting trends, crowds swept away by fear and greed, these present needs like a gnawing hunger. You see deceivers celebrated, and you ask yourself, what value does truth have? This saying of Machiavelli is a mirror. He is not just describing other people, he is describing our own instincts. We all have a simple one within us, one who always wants to believe in the easy path, one who wants to be soothed by sweet lies rather than face the naked truth. The one willing to be deceived lives right in your heart. It is the one that tells you, have another drink, it will help you forget, or postpone that hard task, you deserve a rest. Machiavelli tells the ruler, exploit this, be the deceiver. The Stoic says to himself, conquer this, do not be the one deceived. This is a heroic call. If you are struggling, it is very likely because you are fighting against some attractive lie. Perhaps society is lying to you that you need money or fame to be happy. Perhaps fear is lying to tell you that you are not strong enough. What is the value of this saying? It is a reminder. Think for yourself. The Logos, the universal reason, has granted you a divine spark. Do not let it be buried under present needs. When you feel yourself pulled along by the crowd, stop, breathe. Ask, is this in accordance with reason? Is this in accordance with my virtue? Your task is not to deceive others. Your task is not to resent the deceivers. Your task is to become the one person in the room who cannot be deceived. Become a lighthouse of clarity. In a world full of simple minds, a mind trained by philosophy is a king. When you refuse to be deceived by your own desires, you have achieved the true power that Machiavelli could only weakly imitate. This saying disgusts virtuous people. And rightly so, it is the ultimate justification for betrayal. Machiavelli is saying that for the sake of power, the thing he worships, all promises can be broken. He calls excuses legitimate reasons. And now look at your own life. Have you ever broken a promise to yourself? You promised to wake up early. You promised to exercise. You promised to treat your family with more kindness. You promised to be braver. And then you found a legitimate reason to break it. Did you not? I am too tired. I do not have time. They do not deserve it. We are all princes in our own domain. And we constantly seek to break the most important promises, the promises to our own better selves. The value of this saying lies in its ruthless exposure of our self-deception. Machiavelli is describing a mechanism of weakness that he mistakes for strength. A Stoic understands your character is your promise. A Machiavellian prince builds his power on the fear and uncertainty of others. A Stoic prince, a great soul like Marcus Aurelius, builds his power on one thing alone: the consistency of his character. Your word must be granite. When you make a promise, whether to others or to yourself, it must be done. What if circumstances change? Machiavelli would say, excellent, a legitimate reason to break the promise. The Stoic will say, excellent, an opportunity to keep my promise despite more difficult circumstances. Are you struggling in life? Start here. Stop looking for legitimate reasons. Start building unshakable reason. Become a person whose word carries weight. In a world where everyone is a Machiavellian prince, ready to betray for advantage, be a fortress of integrity. That is true power. Your promise is not your chain, it is your spine. Note, this is the saying often attributed to Machiavelli, and it perfectly summarizes his spirit, although he did not write it exactly this way. This is perhaps the most dangerous heresy. It is the whisper of the serpent. Do this evil so that good may come of it. It says you can sow thorns and hope to harvest grapes. As you can build a house of peace on a foundation of lies. Machiavelli was obsessed with the outcome, the end, a stable state, a military victory. And because he was obsessed with the outcome, he was willing to compromise everything in the process, the means. But what about us Stoics? We understand a greater truth. You do not control the end. You only control the means. Epictetus taught us this. The end, the result, victory, wealth, health, they lie outside our control. They are the work of fortune, the means, our actions, our choices, our virtue. That is the only thing that belongs to us. Machiavelli placed all his faith in that which he could not control, and so he had to sell his soul, the means, to try to achieve it. What a tragedy. My friend, if you are suffering, is it because you are too focused on the end? I must get that promotion. I must make them love me. I must succeed in this project. And because you must achieve that end, you begin to compromise the means. You start to flatter, you start to worry, you start to take shortcuts. You start to lose yourself. Free yourself immediately. The value of this saying lies in its complete inversion. For the Stoic, the means is the end. Our action is the result. end is not to win the battle. The end is to fight bravely. The end is not to become wealthy. The end is to work honestly and diligently. The end is not to be loved. The end is to love completely. When you focus on the means, your virtuous choices right now, you can never fail. Even if you lose your job, lose your money, lose the relationship, if you acted with virtue, you have won. You have achieved the only end that truly matters, a tranquil soul. Therefore, let Machiavelli keep his anxiety-filled ends. We will keep our powerful means. Machiavelli has just perfectly described the cage in which most of humanity imprisons itself. It is an endless cycle driven by fear. 1. Phase 1. Fear. I must secure myself. This is the mentality of scarcity. I need to build higher walls, earn more money, have more power so the world cannot harm me. This is defensive ambition. 2. Phase 2. Aggression. After I am safe, I realize the best defense is an offense. The fear turns to paranoia. I must eliminate my threats. I must control more. The defensive ambition becomes an offensive ambition. It is the life of a hunted animal that eventually becomes the hunter. There is never peace. There is never enough. Do you see this in your life? Perhaps not attacking others with force, but with words, with judgment, with envy. Are you trying to secure your ego by diminishing others? My friend Machiavelli has shown us the path to perpetual slavery. And Stoicism gives us the only escape. The escape is not to secure yourself from attack. The escape is to realize that nothing external can attack your inner citadel. When a person insults you, they are not attacking you. Your reason, they are only creating sound waves that you choose to interpret as an attack. When you lose money, you are not attacked. A number in a bank account has changed. That is all. The only security a Stoic needs is a trained reason, logos. And when you no longer need to secure yourself from externals, what do you realize? You realize you never have the need to attack others. Machiavelli's ambition is a straight line to war. The Stoic's ambition is a circle turned inward leading to peace. The only ambition worth having is the ambition to be braver than yesterday. The ambition to be wiser than yesterday. The ambition to be more just and kind than yesterday. When you pursue this inner ambition, you attack no one. You lift everyone up. You become a model of peace in a world of chaotic ambition. Do you see my struggling friend Machiavelli is not our enemy. He is our guide. He shows us where the swamp is, so we can build the bridge of reason. He shows us the weakness of humanity, so we can find our own strength. He shows us the lie of worldly power so we can grasp the truth of inner virtue. These teachings are our antidote. The next time you feel like a good person meeting ruin, remember you are called to be a good warrior. The next time you find yourself tempted by a legitimate reason to break a promise, remember that your spine is being tested. At first, hearing this is the advice of a general. Machiavelli is speaking of external power. He says that to control others, you must appear decisive. You must have the technique to impose your will. You must have the voice of authority. And you, my struggling friend, perhaps you feel like the smallest person. Your voice is lost. You feel you cannot command anyone, not even your own dog. You feel powerless. But Machiavelli, with his focus on the external world, has missed half the truth. The greatest half, Stoicism, roars. You wish to be obeyed. Then start by commanding the only person truly in your control, yourself. The value of this saying does not lie in controlling others. It lies in self-command. You cannot command others if you are a slave to your own anger. You cannot command others if you are a slave to your own laziness. You cannot command others if you are a slave to fear, to the desire to be liked, to the addiction to fleeting praise. You want authority? Look inward. Command your fear. Silence. You are not my master. Reason is command. Your procrastination, get up. Virtue demands action. Command your resentment, be gone. I choose tranquility. This is the supreme command. When you practice this, a marvelous thing happens. You do not need to shout. You do not need to threaten. You radiate a kind of inner authority. It is the calm of a mountain. It is the steadfastness of Marcus Aurelius, who commanded an empire because first he commanded himself every morning when getting out of bed. Others will not obey you because they fear you as Machiavelli would wish. They will obey, or rather respect and follow you, because they recognize one who has mastered himself. Do not crave to command the world. Begin the great conquest, command yourself. That is the only victory that matters. To Machiavelli, this is the most wonderful news. He cheers. The audience is foolish. They only see with eyes. They do not feel. Therefore, we do not need to be good. We only need to appear good. This is the license for hypocrisy. Be an actor, he says. Put on the costume of piety, of honesty, of mercy. Let your appearance be splendid. Meanwhile, your true self, which very few see, is free to scheme, deceive, and be cruel to achieve its ends. And you are suffering because of this, are you not? You suffer because others see you and make false judgments. They see you fail in business and call you a failure. They see your empty bank account and call you useless. They see you crying and call you weak. They judge by the eyes, and it wounds you. Now take a deep breath. My friend Machiavelli did not just present a problem. He just handed you the greatest liberation. What is the value of these sayings? Let them see. Let them judge your appearance. Let them focus on the shadow on the wall. Why do you care about the verdict of a blind audience? Your appearance, your reputation, your property, your body, what others say about you, all of it is external. They are not you. And your true self, very few feel it, Machiavelli says. The Stoic smiles and replies, correct. In fact, only one person needs to feel it, judge it, and forge it. That person is myself. Your true self is the hegemonicon, your faculty of choice, your inner command center. And it is completely 100% absolutely within your control. Oh, you who are struggling. If the whole world is criticizing your appearance, rejoice. It means your true self is safe. They are busy attacking a phantom of their own imagination. They cannot touch you. Your job is not to be a good actor, as Machiavelli suggests. Your job is to make your appearance and your true self merge into one. How not by changing the true self to fit a false appearance, but by forging the true self, reason, virtue, integrity, to become so solid that it naturally shines out as the appearance. Your calm in the face of hardship appearance must be the reflection of true acceptance by reason inside. Your kind words appearance must come from a heart that has truly chosen kindness inside. Do not be an actor on Machiavelli's stage. Be a stoic warrior in the arena of life. Let your appearance simply be the armor forged from your true self. Then you will not fear the gaze of others, for you know they are only looking at impenetrable armor. A brilliant flash of truth from Machiavelli himself. He realized that titles, king, queen, director, general, doctor, are themselves just empty words. They are splendid robes hanging on a soulless rack. A man, Machiavelli says, must put on that robe and give it life. A weak king will turn the title of king into a mockery. A cowardly general will disgrace the title of general. True power comes from the man, not the symbol. And once again, Machiavelli is right, but only halfway. The man he admires for honoring the title is one who is strong, ruthless, cunning. The man that we Stoics honor is one who has virtue. Oh, my friend, do you feel you are a nobody? Are you suffering because you have no title? You are not the boss, not the successful one, not the star. Rejoice, you have been freed from the burden of those gilded cages. The value of this saying is a heroic reminder. What you are, your soul, is infinitely more important than what you have, your title. You do not need to honor the title of an emperor. You have a far greater title waiting for you to honor every day, the title human being. You have the honor of carrying within you a spark of the logos of universal reason. How do you honor that title? Not by conquering enemies, but by conquering your anger. Not by accumulating wealth, but by practicing gratitude, even in lack. Not by making others bow, but by acting with justice, even when no one is watching. The title Emperor did not make Marcus Aurelius great. It was the man, Marcus Aurelius, with his patience, humility, and steel discipline, who honored that title. Conversely, one like Nero defiled it. Your hardship is your opportunity. When life beats you down, and you still choose to stand straight, when others treat you unjustly, and you still choose to act rightly, when you are afraid, and you still choose to advance, that is when you are honoring the noblest title in the universe, a virtuous human being. Do you see? The stage of appearance is nothing to fear. It is an illusion. Machiavelli teaches you to be the magician. Stoicism teaches you to be the only sober one in the theater. Let the world see and judge. Let them busy themselves with titles and appearances. Meanwhile, you quietly do the real work, command your inner citadel. Unify your true self and your appearance into one unbreakable block of virtue, and honor the only title that matters, the title human being. You have seen through human nature. You have seen through the stage of illusion. You are now more steadfast. And this, my friend, is the deadliest trap in life. You are struggling. You are backed into a corner. And a voice whispers in your ear, just lie. Just deceive a little. Just take the shortcut. It is more effective. This is the whisper of Machiavelli, and it is poison for the soul. Why? Because the Stoic does not care about what is won. We do not care about winning, victory, money, or power. Those are externals. We care only about how we act. The value of this saying lies in its exposure of the enemy, the temptation to see the result. The end is more important than the action, the means. A Stoic cannot deceive, not because we fear being caught, but because the act of deception is itself a failure. It rots the inner citadel. It stains our reason. You are not deceiving others. You are harming yourself. It is 10,000 times better to fail with honesty than to win with deception. Therefore, when you face the choice between force and honest hard effort and deception, a cunning shortcut, always choose the hard path. Choose truth. What is won by deception is ash. What is won by integrity, even if it is an external failure, is tranquility, ataraxia. That is the true victory. Excellent advice. Machiavelli is right again, but he has applied it in the wrong place. He says to use the fox to deceive others and the lion to kill external enemies. We Stoics look at this and say, turn these weapons around, point them inward. Are you struggling? It is because you are being attacked by traps and wolves from your own mind. Be the fox not to set traps for others, but to recognize the traps of your own false judgments. When you become angry, your fox reason must recognize, aha, this is a trap. I am judging an external thing as evil when it is merely indifferent. When you are afraid, your fox reason must recognize, this is a trap. I am fearing a future I do not control. Be the lion, not to frighten wolves who are external enemies, but to frighten the wolf of weakness within you. Your courage is the inner lion. It roars at laziness. It roars at cowardice. It roars at pain and says, you will not defeat me. I am stronger than you. I will endure and persist. The value of this saying is a call to arms. Be a warrior philosopher. Use the sharpness of reason. The fox to analyze the world clearly, and use the greatness of courage, the lion, to act rightly despite fear. Master them both. Machiavelli is dangerously right again. He says, do not run, calculate, and act. But what is he calculating? He is calculating external risks. Loss of money, loss of power, loss of life. And this is where the Stoic smiles, because we know what true risk is. Losing money, that is not a risk. That is fortune at play. Losing reputation, that is not a risk. That is the opinion of others. Losing life, that is not a risk. That is inevitable change. The only risk, the true risk, is to harm one's own soul. The only risk is to act against virtue. Lying to keep a job, that is a risk. Flattering to get promoted, that is a risk. Acting cowardly out of fear, that is the greatest risk. So what is the Stoics' decisive action? It is not an action to change the outcome. It is the decisive action to choose virtue, regardless of the outcome. Are you facing a risk in life? A difficult decision? Do not calculate like Machiavelli. Do not ask, if I do this, what will I gain? lose. That is the calculation of a slave. Ask like a Stoic. What action is just? What action is brave? What action is wise? And once you have seen the path of virtue, act decisively. Walk that path. Let fortune handle the rest. That is true prudence. This is the philosophy of fear. Machiavelli is acting not from strength, but from fear of revenge. He seeks external safety by destroying the external threat. Stoicism inverts this. We also believe in a severe blow. But our enemy is not another man. Our enemy is the ignorance, anger, and fear within ourselves. Do you have an enemy that needs to be harmed? Yes, it is your anger. Do not harm it halfway. Do not just restrain it. Be severe. Uproot it with reason. Analyze it until it dissolves to ash, so its revenge flaring up again is impossible. Do you have another enemy? It is your procrastination. Strike a severe blow against it. Do not negotiate. Act immediately. Were you harmed by others? Do you want revenge? Do not. That person is acting from ignorance. They have already harmed their own soul. They are more to be pitied than angered. The only blow you are permitted to strike is the blow of courage and justice, aimed at your own vices. That is the only war worth fighting. Machiavelli is talking about changing a government. He is right. People hate change. They cling to the old order, even when it is bad because it is familiar. And now, my friend, look within. The hardest order to change is the old order in your mind. You are that leader, and you are trying to introduce a new order that is the order of reason into a kingdom. Your mind that is currently ruled by the old order of habits, impulsive emotions, and fear. Who are the beneficiaries of the old order? It is your laziness, it is your addiction, it is your vulnerable ego, and they will fight against you. This is why changing your life is difficult and dangerous. You are conducting an inner revolution. The value of this saying is an acknowledgement. You are doing the hardest thing in the world. Not building a company, not conquering a mountain, but re-establishing order in your own soul. Therefore, do not be discouraged. If you fail today, stand up tomorrow. This revolution does not happen in one day. Every time you choose reason over impulsive reaction, you are gaining an inch of ground. Persist, O revolutionary of the soul. Machiavelli wants you to imitate Caesar, Alexander, the conquerors of the external world. Stoicism agrees 100% with imitation, but we must choose our great men wisely. Our great men are not those with the most power, but those who are the most virtuous. Our most excellent are not those who never fail externally, but those who never fail internally follow their path. Imitate Epictetus, a crippled slave yet with the freest soul in the universe. Imitate Cato, he who would rather die standing than live kneeling. Imitate Marcus Aurelius, he who ruled the world, yet examined his own conscience most severely. Are you struggling? Ask yourself, how would Epictetus handle this? How would Marcus judge this? You are not alone on this path. You are walking in the footsteps of the greatest souls who ever lived. That path is the path of virtue. Place your feet in their footprints. That is the ultimate strategy. Machiavelli's action is to control the world. The Stoic's action is to master oneself. Machiavelli's strategy is to deceive, attack, and seize. The Stoic strategy is to live, truly endure, and act righteously. You have the strategy. You know who the true enemy is, false judgments, and what the true weapons are, reason and courage. This is Machiavelli's cold calculation. He said, "Love is fickle. It depends on the gratitude of others, which is unreliable. But fear it comes from punishment, a thing one can control. Therefore, fear is a more reliable tool." His philosophy is that of a jailer, one who believes chains are stronger than loyalty. And you, perhaps you are suffering because you are not loved. Perhaps you try to please everyone, and when they do not reciprocate, you feel broken. The Stoic looks at both love and fear and says, why choose to be a slave? The value of this saying is that it forces you to choose. But the Stoic rejects both of Machiavelli's options. He who seeks love to be loved is a slave to the opinions of others. He becomes a pleaser, losing himself. He who seeks fear to be feared is also a slave. He is a slave to his own fear, the fear of being overthrown. A tyrant lives in more constant fear than his subjects. You do not seek love, you do not seek fear, you seek integrity. Act with justice, act with kindness, act with courage. If others love you for it, accept it calmly as an external. If others fear you for your unshakable resolve, accept it calmly as an external. Your goal is not to be feared or to be loved. Your goal is to be respectable, first of all, to yourself. Seek the respect of your inner court. That is the only audience that matters. Machiavelli is again pragmatically correct. A foolish leader will surround himself with flatterers and incompetents. A wise leader will seek out talented people. But Stoicism takes this to a much higher, deeper level. My friend, you are the ruler. Your mind is the kingdom. So who are the men around you? They are your thoughts. They are your judgments. The value of this saying is a powerful self-examination. How is your intelligence estimated? Look at the counselors you allow into your mind. Are you surrounding yourself with thoughts of fear, anxiety, resentment? Are you listening to the counselor of procrastination and laziness? Or are you surrounding yourself with the counselors of reason, of virtue, of acceptance of what cannot be changed? Epictetus said, "Be careful with your impressions." Fire the bad counselors in your head. Stop listening to the inner flatterer, the ego, fearmonger, anxiety. Keep only one counselor, Stoic reason. Only then will your kingdom truly be at peace. This is the saddest, loneliest saying of all. This is the philosophy of a lone wolf believing the world is a zero-sum game. If I give to you, it means I lose. If you become strong, it means I become weak. This is the height of paranoia that Machiavelli regards as reality. The Stoic looks at this and sees a profound ignorance of the nature of the universe. Emperor Marcus Aurelius taught us, what is good for the hive is good for the bee. We are one. Sympathia. We are parts of the same body. The value of this saying is that it shows Machiavelli's path leads to isolation and misery. Our path, the Stoic path, leads to connection and meaning. When you help another to become powerful, stronger in spirit, wiser, more resilient, you are not ruining yourself. You are practicing the highest virtues, kindness and justice. What are you ruining? Only your petty, fearful ego? What are you gaining? You are strengthening yourself because you are acting in accordance with your nature as a rational, social being. Do not fear lifting others up. Do not fear sharing knowledge. The ruin. Machiavelli fears loss of external power is indifferent. The strength you build, inner virtue, when you help others is eternal. Excellent. Even a cold strategist like Machiavelli understood the destructive power of falsehood. He realized that flattery clouds a leader's judgment. He wanted truth, not because truth is good, but because truth is useful. For the Stoic, this is a golden principle. We do not just tolerate truth, we crave it. Flattery is poison because it inflates the ego, that fragile bubble of externals. You are smart. You are beautiful. You are talented. Truth or criticism is the antidote because it punctures that ego and forces us to return to the inner citadel. Are you struggling? Perhaps someone has offended you with a harsh truth. Rejoice. You have just received a gift. Do not react like one who is offended. That is your ego. React like a philosopher. That is your reason. Analyze it. Is the statement true? Yes. Excellent. You have just discovered a blind spot. Thank them, even if only inwardly, for pointing out the fault, and set about correcting it. No, excellent. It is just noise. It is their mistaken opinion. It has nothing to do with you. Let it pass by like the wind over a mountain, making everyone understand. Begins with making yourself understand that you are not your fragile ego. You are the inviolable reason. Machiavelli concludes with a strategic piece of advice. He says, "Love is not necessary. Fear is good, but never let yourself be hated." Why? Because hatred breeds rebellion. It is not effective. He is still calculating. He is still acting from fear. Not being hated is a defensive strategy. The Stoic inverts this. The best fortress is not the opinion of others, whether love, fear, or hate. The best fortress is your inner citadel. But how do you build that fortress? You build it with every act of justice and kindness. You do not act kindly to avoid being hated. You act kindly because it is the right thing to do, because it is the nature of a rational soul to serve the common good. Ironically, the result of a life lived for virtue, a life lived for justice and kindness, is precisely a life not hated. But that is a byproduct, not the goal. Your goal is not to be hated. Your goal is not to become hateful. Worry not about what others think of you, but about what you do to them. We have looked into Machiavelli's mirror and seen the world as it is a battlefield of human nature, perception, strategy, and relationships. Machiavelli teaches you how to win that game by becoming more cunning, more ruthless, and more paranoid than others. He teaches you how to build an external fortress with fear and control. In a world obsessed with winning, remember the greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Machiavelli taught us how to survive among wolves. The Stoics teach us how to remain human among them. You don't need to play their games, you need to rise above them. Let others chase power, fortune, and applause. You, my friend, build something far greater, a soul unbreakable, guided by reason, shaped by virtue. If this message awakens something within you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it, not for numbers, but to spread the light of calm strength in a world drowning in noise. Remember, the fortress is within you. Protect it, strengthen it, live by it. See you in the next reflection.